play along with it, but we don't.
What we got to do is make money, wealth look like insanity.
Mm.
You are more insane the larger your bank account is. And if you do that, that's one thing that no human wants to do, is be labeled as insane.
Insane.
You will avoid that diagnosis of the plague. But as soon as you start labeling, and it very much is, according to their own medical records, if you look at the behaviors at any of them, it is insanity.
Well, it's got to be.
Yeah. So it's like, do you really want to vote for somebody that's insane to run your country? They're insane. Look at their bank account. If they have more money than you, they are insane. Why vote for somebody that's insane? I would vote for somebody that's in poverty.
Mm.
They are more sane because they're thinking more of community.
Plus, they see life, don't they? They actually see it.
They feel it.
Whereas,
It's like,
and
it'll
they
affect
feel it.
me. That'll affect me as long as, but you can't be tempted with greed. That's why I know that, if I get any form of wealth, then I know I've gone insane.
Yeah.
If I put that rule that if I have more money than everybody else, then I've gone insane. So I won't go for that profit. But I think that there has to be a normal standard, you know. But I wouldn't want to start buying stuff until I know everybody can afford stuff. When my quality
Yeah.
of life goes up is only when society's level quality of life goes up globally.
Mm.
Like, that's what the American dream is all about. You have stuff, and there's a third world country there that doesn't have stuff. So
Mm.
it's like, you got to look at yourself as being the enemy, the creator of that third world country, just so you could have your stuff. If you can't connect the dots, you're insane.
Somebody actually said that that's all it really is, a dream.
Yep. Yeah, but it's you make your choice of being the one that's in poverty or be the one that's wealthy. That's the choice you make. So it's like, you look at Charlie Sheen. His father's family was living in poverty. They wouldn't even allow him into the States. They had to come into the States through Cuba. They come from a very impoverished family that they fought to get that American dream. So they did what they could to, and they got into acting, which is where the manipulation is. As long as you can manipulate people into giving you money, you have now gained your wealth by manipulating people. And look at the films that they made. His father was in Apocalypse Now.
Mm.
I mean, look at the negative energy that they put out there in film,
Mm.
and think that, oh, it doesn't have an effect on society. And it's like, no, you put a picture out there like that, you've influenced society to behave like that.
Yeah.
It ain't just a film, it's programming. It's massive brainwashing programming.
Mm.
So when you have to get a guard to protect yourself, there's a reason. Because you just pissed off a lot of people on a subconscious level.
Mm.
And that's what Charlie Sheen is doing right now. Is he probably does not know his subconscious mind, but he's playing out the sins of the father.
Mm.
He's not justifying his wealth. In order to justify his wealth, it causes him so much pain that he needs to be on drugs. And he doesn't love himself, which is why he's addicted to sex, because he knows damn well he's not a loving person. He'll try to be a loving person. He'll try and have a lot of friends and everything, and his money is attracting all of these friends, but they will all take advantage of him, so he knows that. On a subconscious level, he won't be aware he's doing it. But the only
Yeah.
reason if you have a sex problem and cannot send or receive love, can't keep a marriage working, it's because you have a love issue in your life. There's something that you don't believe is loving about yourself. And that's really painful and will cause you an addiction. And I
Mm.
agree 100% that you can go into AA and just be disciplined to just say no, but you'll always have that problem unless you transform that problem. So it's like if Charlie Sheen can get it, but he's making it so friggin' massive because he's calling himself out. He's a loser
Mm.
by saying he's a winner. He's insulting the whole planet. It's going to come back at him big time. And he's trying to prove to the world that he's not addicted to drugs. So he ain't going to be using anything as a painkiller anymore. He's going to use his mouth as the pain reliever. He's going to talk. The more pain he is, the more he's going to talk. Because he's trying to prove the power of his brain is so powerful that he doesn't need drugs. So it's like, okay, prove that one. Because he's in
Mm.
massive amount of pain. So, to be the winner that he thinks he is, he cannot do drugs. Otherwise, the
Mm.
whole planet will say, see, you need AA. He knows AA doesn't work. He knows that. He's too smart for that. And I agree, it is. So now he's got to prove it to himself that he's going to piss off the whole planet and create more pain and not be able to take drugs. The only thing he's got is his mouth and his ability to sell people. He's got to sell people on the dream.
Which you will probably do.
Well, his last tweet is he reckoned last night's show was a total screw up. He really, really messed up big time. And I don't know to what extent he knows, but he tweeted that it was a colossal failure. My bad. And he's correcting it soon. So stay tuned for the next one and see if he gets it this time around. But
It just seems like he's digging holes in lots of fields.
but he's healing himself, if you can see it. He's
Mm.
he's he's facing the bear whether anybody recognizes it or not. And he's facing it socially because socially we are the problem. It ain't him. It is the social problem. He fell into the social problem because he is part of society. But he's got to change society.
Mm. A
So,
good friend of mine who he were he was taking he was taking cocaine and crystal meth and all sorts of stuff, and he was absolutely brilliant, fantastic kid. Um, Life and soul any party. He'd have you laughing all night. He'd literally have your stomach muscles falling out because amazing kid. And they went to bed one night about 3 o'clock in the morning after a party. And she said, "Oh, he was fine and dandy." And then next morning, he was dead.
from a drug
Uh,
overdose?
he'd injected some stuff into him before he actually went. I think it was to try and make him sleep. Um, they said that he injected too much.
That's the only thing is, will he die? And
Mm,
the only way is like, okay, you got to be against what he's saying. You got to be that negative energy that forces him to face himself. But at the same time, you got to send him a lot of love. But love in the right way. Don't give him money. Watch him lose
no.
his money. you know.
That's the thing about the Bible and stuff, and all these so-called like, is it Billy Graham and a few others. And the one thing I see is that they're trying to save souls and that, but they're just taking money. They're taking people's money.
They've sold themselves to the devil. It's all greed.
I mean that also bamboozles me. I mean, why is Satan never mentioned in that first book? And he's all over Second New Testament, but he's not in first one. Surely
Really,
he'd be in the first one, but he's not. He's not mentioned anywhere in it.
really. And then it's they put the phrase in, the Bible cannot be changed. Yet that's all they do is change the Bible all the time.
They even named they named the man who drew Jesus Christ. Drew him. So to me it just doesn't feel right.
No, it's not.
Um, I'm not going to follow it blindly. I mean, I need to. If it was so real, I think everybody would feel it, but they don't.
When we start talking truth, people will feel it
Mm,
because it'll be true for everybody.
yeah.
But
Mm,
we're in, nobody can hear anything. You have very selective hearing. You hear what you want to hear. And if you want to believe in a concept, you won't hear any other concept. And I really like it.
mm,
They all tell me that I should listen to them with an open mind. And it's like, can you listen with an open mind? Can you follow your
mm,
own advice and have that debate? But they can't have that debate. They shy
no.
away from the debate and then they say, I don't want to debate. And it's like, I'm here. I'll debate you. Be
Mm,
respectful first. Don't call me names. Don't, follow your own rules. Whatever's good for you should be good for, whatever you think is good for me should be good for you as well. But it's usually one sided. And if I answer a question, they don't see the answer. They say I don't answer anything. It's like, just ask me the question. I just answered you. How is it I didn't answer your question? But they don't see that I've answered anything unless it's their answer.
I saw in one of your posts. I think it was a woman who replied, and she said something about stop answering a question with a question or something. I forget which post it was now. Is it what? Is it that Philida the Greek or something? Is it Philida the Greek? Well, I don't know. She said she answers questions with questions. She doesn't answer them with, she doesn't actually answer a question with an answer or something.
And there may be that I've done that because I want you to see your own insanity. I can't tell you that.
Mm,
So whatever question you asked, it's like, well, you come up with the answer because I can't. You won't hear me.
mm,
The best way to get somebody to answer a question is by you coming up with your own answer. Make sense out of
yeah.
what you just asked.
Mm, yeah.
But yeah, like if that ever came up, then it's like, well, why can you ask me a question and I can't ask you a question?
Mm,
If I make a statement with a question after the statement, how come they can't answer my questions?
mm, yeah.
because they can't come up with anything logical. They can't answer a question. But yet that's all they do is try and get somebody else to answer a question. It's like, you won't hear me. You won't hear anything I've got to say. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird that